This woman had just returned home after working late into the night when her vision suddenly went dark, and she collapsed. Nima never imagined that overworking would be the thing that ended her life. When the gods learned what happened, they felt pity for her. They decided to grant Nima another life and even promised to give her a special power. It could be anything she wished for: teleportation, the ability to defeat any enemy with one strike, anything at all. But Nima didn't want to fight or destroy. All she wanted was to touch soft, fluffy animals. That had always been her dream, to come home after a long day, pet something warm and furry, and feel all her stress melt away. The god was stunned. In all eternity, no one had ever made such a ridiculous request. But after thinking it over, he realized what Nima truly wanted: to be loved by all creatures that weren't human. Before Nima could explain further, the god sent her into another world with this special ability. When she opened her eyes again, she was a baby. A pair of gentle hands lifted her up, and everyone who saw her cooed in delight. Nima had been reborn into a noble family. Years passed, and Nima grew up surrounded by love. Her family treated her well, and everywhere she went, fluffy animals gathered around her. It was the life she had always dreamed of. She often thanked the god silently for granting her this second chance. One day, her mother had to visit the royal palace. The rest of the family was busy, so she brought Nima alone. It was Nima's first trip far from home, and she was thrilled. But waiting in the palace was boring, so Nima wandered off into the royal garden to play. Soon, a crowd of animals surrounded her. Then, from the shadows, a pair of glowing eyes appeared. The animals scattered in fear. Those eyes belonged to a white tiger. Nima's eyes sparkled with excitement. She had never seen such a rare and majestic creature. To her, this was the ultimate fluffy. She asked the tiger if she could pet it. The tiger lowered itself and motioned for her to climb onto its back. Nima could hardly contain her joy. But before they could go far, a man sitting in a nearby tree blocked their path. It was Gash, the white tiger's master. He quickly lifted Nima off the tiger. Though the tiger was gentle, it was still a powerful beast. Nima protested, but the more she resisted, the more amused Gash became. Laughing, he hoisted her onto his shoulder. Gash was curious: why would his tiger, who never let anyone near it, allow this little girl to approach so freely? As they talked, he learned that Nima was the daughter of a duke. So, he brought her to the king's office to clear things up. When Nima's father saw her, he was even more shocked than she was. After learning what happened, he realized Gash had mistaken her for a lost child and brought her there for safety. Gash, it turned out, was actually the prince of the kingdom. Nima, who had just been calling him a bad person in her head, quickly bowed and thanked him politely. Then she noticed the man standing beside her father. He had to be the king. Wanting to make a good impression, Nima curtsied, lifted her dress slightly, and introduced herself with perfect manners. The king couldn't help but smile, finding her irresistibly adorable. When Nima's mother learned that her daughter had disappeared, she was furious, but beneath that anger was amazement. She never imagined her little girl could befriend a sacred beast. The white tiger was known as a holy creature that only bonded with its chosen partner. For it to willingly approach Nima was extraordinary. Her mother began to suspect that her daughter possessed a special gift. Later, Nima went with her family to visit the Royal Academy of Magic. That day, the academy was holding its annual magic training tournament. Her brother and sister were both participants. Nima cheered as her brother easily defeated his opponent. Then came her sister's turn, but something went terribly wrong. Instead of summoning a normal creature, she accidentally called forth a dragon. Gasps filled the arena. Dragons were even more powerful than holy beasts like the white tiger. Normally, they couldn't be summoned at all. Nima was terrified that her sister would panic.